Okay, let's try this again. Hello, mis amores. Que sopa? It is me, Diana, your Leo queen. All right, so boom. I was in a ranty kind of mood, when am I not? I wanted to just speak about something that has been conflicting me recently, right? And it's always some internal conflict that I have. Rarely is it external, because if you think about it, the problems that you have, for the most part, I would say for me personally, the problems that I have are a reflection of, how I think about myself, how I view life as a whole, how I view the people around me as a whole. So, recently, I was let go from my job, right? It's a whole situation going on with that. And I had a talk with my parents right after it happened. And I realized when something is for you, yes, it's for you, right? And I don't think I really came to terms with what my path is, right? What the path that is set for me is supposed to be. I'm a very stubborn person. I will not lie about that. So when I see something that I want or a goal that I have set, I'm going to stick to it as much as I can. I think when I was younger, it was difficult. I was just very flippy, floppy, wishy-washy. But at this age that I'm at now, I'm still young, but I don't have the time to waste, because I have like milestones that I want to reach. So I went to that job for the benefits for my school, to make sure I could pay off my tuition, because I'm supposed to be graduating at the end of this year. So I can transfer into a different department, because they have a department with my degree, and start working in the company for that. Because, just progression and milestones that I was looking to reach. And it was an attainable goal. So I wanted to leave that job for a while now, because hostile environment, very treacherous, to say the very least. And I was working overnight, so I did not feel like myself. My body was worn out. My circadian rhythm was out of whack. And like even now, it's almost 12 a.m. and I'm up like it's damn near 6 a.m. Like I'm about to go for a run. So my whole sleep schedule is out of whack. And I said, you know what? I'm going to stick with it. Got 4 days of vacation time out of the whole year while working weekends and overnight. So I was really, really trooping. Like I said, I'm going to put in the time and effort, and I'm going to work, right? I'm going to work towards my goal. And I did everything that I needed to do, right? Nothing I did was wrong. Don't get me wrong, I did one thing wrong, but it wasn't worth firing me over, right? So when I got the notice that I was fired, and I spoke to my colleagues, my coworkers, who have been in the same position, and who have, they have done things that were on higher grounds of being fired, I really realized, this has happened before, and I have been so stubborn to not listen to God when He's telling me that this is not my path. It's not my path. But when you're stuck in your ways and you think that you know what's best, and granted, you might know what's best, but good things don't come easy, yes, but there should not be so much resistance. So every day I went to work and I came home, there was a path. And I promise you, this may sound like I'm looking for a scapegoat or looking for some kind of revelation, but just listen. So whenever I came home from work, right, I would get off of work at 6 a.m. make my way home on the train. And the entire time, because I want to get to work as quickly as possible, I had a one-track mind. There's a path that I would have to take from one train to transfer over to another train. And it seemed longer than it needed to be, right? And I'm going to be honest, this is as corny as it sounds, this is the path that was most traveled to get to from one train to another. So you had to come down 2 flights of steps, go up 1 small flight of steps, another small flight of steps, and then go down another 2 flight of steps to get to the other train. Like a whole 5 minutes of walking. If you're from New York City, that's typical. It's nothing new, right? So I would do that every day when I needed to get home from work, right? And at times I would miss the train that's right there. Like there was a split second before I got to the train, and I would have caught it if I got there probably like a minute, couple of seconds earlier than I did. And that happened almost every time. The day that I got fired, I went on that same train. I usually stand in a particular section to allow me to get from that train to the steps in a timely fashion, so I could cut down on time, being strategic, because all I want to do is go home and sleep. So this day that I got fired, something told me to stand in a different section on the train platform to get on a different cart of the train. I get on that cart, then I come off to transfer at the station that I usually transfer to when I get down those flights of stairs that I run through to get to the other train. Something told me, instead of taking a left this time, take a right. Did you know this entire time, I've been working at this job for almost 5 months. This entire time, the cart right next to the one that I was in, if you make a right, it takes you to the other train that I have to transfer to in 1 minute. So I could easily caught those trains, the transfer trains, very easily. I promise you, I laughed out loud. It sounds so minuscule, but when you finally open your eyes to what's in front of you and the signs that are there, and you don't close yourself off, right? From what honestly I believe are signs. There are signs everywhere. There are signs if you want to look for them. So there are always going to be signs. But I realized this was this easy this entire time. And nobody traveled through that path. The path less traveled is not always the hardest path. It's just that everybody likes to flock like sheep because they don't want to be the ones to be outliers and have to find out maybe something devastating on their own or waste time on their own. They don't want to feel like the person that was left out. They don't want to feel like the person that had to go through the trials and tribulations on their own. It's easier to share your sorrows, your pain, your mistakes in a flock. Much harder to do it alone. But the reward is much grander. Listen, when I tell you I laughed out loud, I laughed out loud. As small as it may seem to y'all, it was a big revelation to me. Because I not once have seen that path. I promise you, I had to stand. I missed that train because I was like, where am I going? I don't need sleep right now. I stood to the side. And I really had to look around. I was like, this path was here this entire time? I believe almost everything happens for a reason. Especially if you're looking for a reason. I believe a lot of things, don't happen to you, they happen for you. It's about changing your perspective. Granted, of course, there's always anomalies to this rule, I guess you can say. But more often than not, that is the case. You just have to take blinders off. I think I'm so stubborn that I don't, and because I don't want to waste time anymore, I forget to broaden my horizon and just take a step back. And it's difficult to do that, right? I'm not the only person that goes through that. I think it's difficult to do that for people who have to work jobs. Obviously, you have more responsibilities, you have children. And it's much more difficult for people like that, you know? So, I'm saying this because there are a lot of layoffs happening. Not to mention, this orange man is in office. So I can only see that it's going to get worse, right? So at this point in time, the grass grows where you water it, right? And you may be in a position similar to mine where, unfortunately, you were laid off and you need to find another path. Sometimes it's right in front of you. You just have to take a step back. And the way I see it, this is not even a blessing in disguise. This is a blessing because this is not the first time this has happened to me where I was stubborn and I thought, okay, I'm going to do this job. I'm going to get through it. Thankfully, I'm a great saver, so I have a good cushion, right? But I think during this time, what I was supposed to be doing with another job that this happened with me what am I talking about? Another time this happened to me was earlier last year, right? And I told myself, okay, I'm going to get into YouTube. I'm going to start making videos and just posting, right? Without worrying about who's going to see it, what they perceive me as, maybe even how I perceive myself. I'm not going to second guess it. I'm just going to post. And we'll go from there. The thing that you need to do is start. Begin. Start. Just start. You can go from there and fix whatever you need to fix. Revise whatever you need to revise, you know. Let me turn this off. You can go from there, right? Let me make sure this is still recording. Okay. But you can go from there. And just do what you need to do. And nothing starts off perfect. Nothing starts off perfect. That's why you just need to start. So you can become better. You need 10,000 hours to become great at something. You need to start in order to do that. So I think, during this time, I'm going to utilize this time wisely. Once again, this didn't happen to me. It happened for me. And I'm going to make sure I utilize this time wisely now, this time. And see what comes of this. So, here I am. And yeah, I'm going to try to post as consistently as possible. I would say at baby steps. Start every week, once a week. And we'll see where it goes from there. And it might be the most random content in the beginning, right? Because I don't know what I want to post, really. I like music. I like sports. I like to just ramble. And I like reacting to things because I think I'm a very animated person. But yeah, that's basically it. So, thank you for listening to me. And I hope that whoever's going through something similar, I hope that you create the same mindset for yourself. As difficult as it may be, I may be in a privileged situation where I have people who love and care for me, and I was able to save enough money, right? But in whatever way you can, because I feel as though things are only going to get worse. So the best thing for yourself is to have a positive mindset in any way you can. Because this orange man is in the office. That's just what I'm going to say. But thank you once again. And ta-ta. Bye-bye.